What's up, guys? Today we'll be checking out the Moto G Stylus 2025. This one's been kind of overdue. I've been seeing these on eBay for less than 200 bucks if you get them locked to a carrier. So this one's locked to Cricket, and I think this one was like 160 or something like that. 160, 170. It's pretty cheap considering that, you know, this phone is, you know, pretty new, and these phones have always been really impressive to me. So let's go ahead and check out the newest model they have. I don't have my knife, so let's pop it open, and that feels like there's no brick in here. Yeah, there is no brick in here, so it looks like it's just a charging cable. I don't know if that's just for this Cricket model. Yeah, it's just a Type-C to Type-C. Alright, let's go ahead and get this out of the packaging. So this is the blue color here. It looks very similar to last year's model, which is not a bad thing at all. I really like the design on the 2024, and yeah, so it's IP68, dust and water resistant. This is a, you know, what they call eco leather, plastic, you know, kind of back, but plastic frame. Nothing about this phone feels cheap, so it feels pretty much exactly like the last one, and it's very well designed, so it doesn't, no one would ever think that this is a $160 phone you just paid for. So very, very nice. The great thing about these Moto G Stylus phones is that you don't have a lot of options for SD card support anymore. The A series from Samsung got rid of it. You probably have a few, but it's very rare. This has the SD card support, headphone jack, and you have a nice stylus with a really nice weight to it. And that's the one thing that I don't like about the S25 Ultra is the stylus is so flimsy now. It doesn't feel premium, but yeah, you get everything with this phone. SD card support, premium design, even though it's not glass and metal, it's IP68, which is very good. So yeah, so far loving the design. Again, not that different from, you know, the 2024 model. Alright, let's check out the display on here. The Moto G Stylus has a pretty nice display. It is a 6.7-inch AMOLED display, and the bezels are pretty, you know, respectable on this device. Not bad at all. And we also do have, again, 6.7-inch AMOLED, 120 Hz. This does have 3000 nits peak brightness, so this does get very bright and direct sunlight. So when I was outside taking photos, it did a very good job. We also have a pretty nice resolution on here of 1220 by 2712. So we also have 444 for the PPI. Everything looks pretty sharp, and the icons and text and everything looks great. Colors are really nice and vivid on here. I don't have any, you know, issue with this panel. Again, a lot of people are gonna pay, you know, $100 bucks, $200 bucks for this phone. You get a really nice screen on here. I don't have an issue with the display. It's very high quality panel. 120 Hz, super silky smooth on here, so no issues at all with this screen. Now we do have a Moto skin on here with a few little, you know, touches to the software. It, you know, kind of feels like stock Android, but they have their own kind of like little icons and stuff like that. The pen also has a sketch to image feature, handwriting calculator, the Moto notes on here. The calculator is a pretty cool thing, and it works pretty well. This is something that you see in iOS, but I'm pretty sure Motorola was doing this first. But yeah, so overall I do really like the software on here. Like, this looks like stock Android, so they didn't really change that. Of course, the app drawer, the multitasking switcher, pretty similar. So I think everything is really nice and quick on here. You know, you have a few other like little customizations and stuff on here as well. But for the most part, it's kind of, you know, closer to stock Android than anything. So yeah, so I really like it. The software is fast, and I don't have an issue with it. And also, one cool thing that they're doing with these Motorola phones now, and I'm pretty sure this is not like new. I think this was on the last one, but they do have a Moto, like a Samsung desktop support. So it has a similar thing to that, which is pretty cool. So you can, you know, go ahead and like beam this to a, you know, screen, which is pretty nice. It's called the Smart Connect. So, you know, it's a pretty cool thing to have. I did go ahead and run some benchmarks here. So we have Android 15. We get 2 major OS updates from, you know, Android 15. Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 is on here. Adreno 710 GPU. 128 gigs of internal storage, 8 gigs of RAM. We get UFS 2.2 on here. And you can see the scores, not that bad. The 3D Mark scores, you can see it's not going to be anything crazy. It's not necessarily, you know, it's a budget phone. It's not really a gaming phone. The phone stays pretty cool for the most part. I don't really have an issue with this phone, like getting warm. Yeah, so let's just jump into PUBG and see what we get. And for a game like PUBG, we should be able to run this pretty smoothly at 60 frames. So yeah, we can run this at 60 frames, no problem. So if you are trying to get some casual gaming in, maybe, you know, a few matches of Call of Duty, PUBG, you know, just casual games like Subway Surfer and stuff like that, this should do perfectly fine when it comes to, you know, just giving you a quick little gaming experience. And you should be able to honestly run, you know, some lighter emulators and stuff like that, maybe PSP emulators. So, you know, if you are into gaming, no, it's not going to do as good as an older flagship. It's not going to be as well optimized. But I would say that, I mean, this does a perfectly, you know, good job in terms of, you know, being able to get you a few quick matches of, you know, PUBG, Call of Duty, or whatever. So yeah, so you're not going to be playing at crazy settings, but you can definitely come in here and get some gaming done. Let's check out these speakers at max volume here. The speakers are definitely pretty loud. I wouldn't say it's the best quality sounding speakers that I've heard. They are pretty loud. There is the bass a little bit present. It's not as well balanced as, you know, I would like it to be. But overall, it's pretty good. I mean, they're like pretty loud though. Yeah, like you can't really hear the 808s. They're very like kind of faint. So that's why I said the sound is not really that balanced on here. Maybe you can kind of mess with the settings a little bit. But as they come out the box, you know, they're not that balanced. The fingerprint scanner. So the fingerprint scanner, I haven't really had an issue with it. It's pretty fast. It is a optical one, so, you know, you can't tap to touch it. But, I mean, it gets in there pretty quickly just with it applying a little bit of pressure. So I think it's solid, so I wouldn't worry about that. Now this phone does have the updated Gemini on here, of course, and your circle to search is going to be here, but I don't really see a lot of like other like little AI features on here, which I think is totally fine. I never really use the AI features. I think them having the smart cast is pretty nice anyway. But if you're somebody who wants to like mess around with like more AI features, like for example, like in photos, like the photos, you can't like erase, use an object eraser thing or whatever. It's like kind of stock. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, so it's just their photo app. They have their like Motorola applications here, but you're not gonna really see any AI stuff on here again, which I think is perfectly fine because I never use the AI stuff. Alright, so how is the Moto G Stylus 2025 cameras here? Just to go over the specs, it's a 50 megapixel standard and a 13 megapixel ultra wide. It shoots in 4K 30. You also have a 32 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 30 as well. And there's a macro mode on here. There's a pro mode on here as well. We also have a photo booth and night vision, tilt shift on here. I would say as far as the image quality goes, I think the image quality is pretty good. This phone, you know, it's only lacking a telephoto lens, so when you kind of punch in times I would say 3-4 times, it can get a little bit soft and of course a little bit blurry, I guess. But overall, just standard shots with this phone. It takes pretty good shots. I think the color has also been improved a lot from the 2024 model. Color is a lot more accurate. So I think the cameras look great. The video still, it still kind of looks like a mid-range phone video, which is not bad. I mean, it's a mid-range phone, but I think the video is okay. But I think the photos look great. Great dynamic range. Like I said, great color. Pretty accurate color to real life in a lot of these shots. And yeah, I don't have an issue with the quality of the cameras on here at all. Now, this is one of those phones that's going to be a battery life beast. Just like the 2024 was really good with standby time and screen on time. Could easily get 6 hours of screen on time out of this and more. It has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery and 68-watt wire charging. Unfortunately, they did not include the charger in the box, so you're gonna have to buy, a fast charger separately, unfortunately. But this does have 15-watt wireless charging, which is really nice as well. So I think this phone is awesome. I don't have anything negative to say about this phone. These phones are going for dirt cheap on eBay and Amazon, and on prepaid carriers they're going for really cheap as well. So I would say 100% if you're looking for a prepaid phone or just a budget phone, and this thing has everything. The only thing it's missing is like an IR blaster. You got headphone jack, you got SD card support, you got the pen on here, which is nice. You can just use it to navigate, or just do some digital artwork maybe. The cameras are solid. I think the design, even though it's an all plastic phone, the design is fine, and it is also IP68 water resistant as well, which is pretty nice. So this phone to me is awesome. I think this is just like 2024's Moto G Stylus. This is a great buy for anyone, honestly.